If you want to get around within the UAE, this is how most people tend to do it, by road. The distances are fairly short, the tarmac's quite good, and the petrol's pretty cheap. But now, for the first time, people who haven't got deep enough pockets to use a private jet can do some of those journeys by air instead. These pilots have been hired from the United States to come and work in the Gulf on a new aviation venture. Their employers started flying from the capital Abu Dhabi to the coastal town of Fujairah and nearby Al Ain, barely an hour by car. There are plans to fly to other airports too.
Yeah, good morning, folks. From the flight decks.
But while these jets can hold about 50 people, onboard announcements don't always have the largest audience. Now, this is a flight from Abu Dhabi to Fujairah in the north of the UAE. It's a drive that will take about 4 hours, but this flight is only around 30 minutes. However, as you might be able to see, despite it only being a small plane, there are plenty of empty seats. In fact, I'm the only one here who doesn't work for the airline. For now, though, the company's talking up its chances, saying that new concepts can take time to click.
Awareness is the key, and people are not aware that the process is so smooth, and we basically want the people to get used to it, and we are aware that it will take a bit of time for people to get used to that one.
And experts say the airline's optimism might have some foundation.
At first glance, the idea of domestic air travel throughout the UAE just seems crazy. But when you look at it closely with the developments that are actually happening in the Northern Emirates, it makes a lot more sense. Fujairah is actually becoming one of the world's major oil trading ports now. When the business aviation traffic starts flying in somewhere, it's not long before the commercial follows, because you have management, you have engineers, you have investors all coming through.
Airport bosses met here recently with issues of demand and competition hot topics.
One lesson they can learn is that they need to be very selective about which domestic routes that they operate. The mature markets, European and the US markets, quite a lot of the domestic services have either become unviable or have been replaced by the alternative.
Based in the northern emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, RAK Airways has also started flights to Abu Dhabi. But at the same time, it signed a codeshare deal with Etihad. And it's relying on passengers using them as a way of connecting to and from international carriers, because it knows domestic demand's probably not enough to fill its jets.
Well, the business case really is, I suppose, unproven. It's all about efficiency and cost as far as the consumer's concerned. And as long as you are able to offer a business traveller a good working day in their destination and an efficient and affordable experience, then I think we've got the right ingredients.
It's nearly take-off time for another Ratana jet flight. This time there are a few passengers, and they seem enthusiastic.
This is actually my first time on this flight, but we're starting to develop contacts in Abu Dhabi, so I do see it being a regular occurrence.
It's a long straight road all the way to Dubai, and then you have to sort of commute through Dubai itself, and that just on its own is enough to sort of put me off commuting every day. So especially with some of the roads there, they're quite dangerous with the camels crossing and the sand blowing across.
So some encouraging comments there, and if word does spread and numbers do pick up, that'll help those who've backed this venture to breathe a little easier.